what's up everybody? It's your boy Tristan Talks here, the digital storyteller, and I'm super excited to be with you once again for another episode of Cinecut, where we'll be talking about how I shot this Footlocker ad campaign for Mother's Day with the help and the assistance and the direction of my boy O'Shane. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's go. Woo! All right, guys, I'm excited for this episode because this episode is going to be so dope because I love explaining my creative process. It's just really refreshing to be able to be out and about creating stuff that's cool, that you're proud of, that you want to share. So in this video, it's going to be really straightforward, and I just want to kind of go step by step to explain the process of how we shot this ad campaign for Footlocker with my boy O'Shane and for Mother's Day. Check it out.
Hi, my name is Sarah Lynn, out of fashion on Instagram, and I'm a Toronto blogger. It's really special to watch them develop and, watch all the things that they're learning. They love everything fashion and sneakers. They talk about Jordans. They ask when we're going to take photos next. They're really into it. They like getting themselves dressed, and they always put together cool outfits. I don't think that they think anything's cool about me. But I think it's like the little things, taking them out for treats and snacks I think is cool and fun, but they think fashion and sneakers and stuff like that is cool. I really want to push what we're doing to grow our brand and to learn and spend more time together. I think it's really important right now.
So as you can see, it was a pretty cool spot. It was really heartfelt and had some vibe to it. And we did a few things that were a little bit different than some of our other shoots that we've done previously. Now, the way that Footlocker pitched this idea to us was it was all about profiling sneakerhead moms, right? Moms that were into fashion, were into, trendy shoes, were into fitness and all of those sort of things combined together. And they had a strong connection with their kids, and their kids worked with them in their brands or on their blogs. And they wanted to feature these two young ladies because they wanted to kind of focus in on the idea of being kind of a millennial mom, right? And one of the things that I found interesting right off the bat was the fact that we were featuring mothers that were diverse, that came from diverse backgrounds, as well as mothers that one had 3 kids, the other had 1 kid, and they're both single moms. When you are working with brands, you have to remember that at the end of the day, they're creating this, or they're asking you to create these pieces so that they can sell stuff. You know what I mean? They're going to sell pants or shirts or boxers or hair care, whatever it is, lotion for their skin, whatever it is they're selling. They want to sell things. So as creatives, we have to have the skill to be able to be intentional about explaining the creative and taking the creative world and funneling it and connecting it to the dollars and cents and ultimately the results that drive the business and that allow you to get more opportunities, right? So because of the tight deadline, I was just going to shoot with my A7 IIIs. And the reason why I wanted to shoot with my A7 IIIs was because they were small. I could throw one on a gimbal. I could put one on a monopod or hand hold it and get, everything I need to get shooting with those 2 cameras. So O'Shane actually suggested that I should shoot with the ZCam. And I was apprehensive about shooting with a ZCam, not because I don't love shooting with ZCam, but because we had such a tight deadline and we only had 1 day and about 6 to 7 hours to be able to do this whole shoot with 2 people on different parts of Toronto or in different parts of Toronto. I just didn't feel like lugging around the ZCam with all the modularity that comes with it. There's a lot of different pieces that I had to remember to bring, and if I didn't bring it, then that could mess up the whole shoot. So with using the ZCam, I decided to go with the SLR Magic micro primes, the 25 millimeter micro prime, because that would give me about a 30 to 35 millimeter sort of focal length on the Super 35 crop sensor that comes with the ZCam S6. And I went with all Sony LP batteries, so like the smaller, or LP or MP, I don't know, but the Sony batteries that everybody uses, the generic ones. I used those for my monitor, which was the Shinobi by Atomos, because I just decided to use my hand to rack focus and to also adjust the aperture as well. The thing that I did use, which really helped, was the Tilta matte box, mini matte box, which is by far one of my favorite accessories to use with the ZCam. It just helped me really cut out some of the unneeded, unwanted light that was coming on the sun, because the sun was hitting us almost directly on top of our heads. So it allowed me to kind of cut out some of that extra bit of light that I didn't need. Now click on the link above me here if you want to see the full breakdown of my camera rig for 2021. So let's talk a little bit about location. So there were 2 locations. One location was an indoor location, which we did a little bit later on. It had a lot of natural light coming into it, but there was a lot of like dark patches or dark areas in the space, and we had to be aware of that. That was really important. But then the other location was totally outside. We started shooting outside at around, I would say 9:30, 10 o'clock. So you can imagine the sun was almost on top of our heads. So that really caused a little bit of problems in terms of harshness, as well as just shadows hitting left, right, and center our talent. So one of the things that we wanted to do was we had to, I brought a C-stand with me, and I had to actually open up one of the bounces that I had, and I used the black side of the bounce, and I used it on the C-stand because we didn't have any flags, because I haven't purchased any flags. And I had O'Shane kind of hold it so it wasn't blowing in the wind. And then we had another bounce that O'Shane brought, and we put that down a little bit lower, more chest high where O'Shane was. And then we were able to block out all the sun, so our talent, Sarah, was not in harsh sunlight and creating these bad shadows. And we were able to expose the backdrop enough so that you could see her, and you could also see the backdrop or the background as well. With Christina, our second mom, well, not our second mom, but the second mom. Anyways, you get what I'm saying. With her, we needed to give a little bit more of a fill because it was too dark inside of the space, and she was really backlit, but she wasn't front lit enough. So with that, what I did was I made sure to bring my Godox 150 LED spotlight. The thing that I love about this light is that I can use it as a flood. I can use it, as a bounce and bounce it off of the ceiling. So the way I used it in this particular instance was we put a little gel on top of the light, and then I put the diffusion cloth, I should say, and then that just gave it almost like a warm glow. I turned up the light to almost full strength, and I just allowed it to just slowly, softly hit the talent. So it warmed up their skin, warmed up their faces. So I decided to shoot in slow motion, but not just in slow motion, but also in 24 frames per second. And just to explain this a little bit better, the ZCam is really cool in the sense of you can actually turn on a setting called variable frame rates. And what that means is you can be shooting in 24 frames per second, but then you can also tell the camera to shoot in a variable or a flexible frame rate, so that if you want to slow it down later in post, you can slow it down later in post, but you can also shoot it 24 frames and it won't matter or won't affect the end product. You actually can shoot in 24 frames at 6K, and then you can change your variable frame rate to 120 or 60 frames per second, and it'll do both. I was glad that we did shoot in slow-mo because we didn't have a lot of time with each family. We only had maybe 2 hours, maybe two and a half hours for each family. The other choice that we made creatively was to shoot in handheld. And the reason I like to shoot in handheld is because I'm not really a big fan of gimbal, the gimbal look, I guess. Yes, the gimbal look can work for certain situations. It's beautiful when it works well, but it's not my favorite method of shooting. I really like hand holding the camera and really going right into the subject and racking focus and really giving you that texture that handheld footage gives you. It's almost this sort of like urban, really grounded feeling that you get when you're holding the camera and when you're shooting somebody really closely and shooting the talent really closely to you. Now, editing this project was really interesting as well. O'Shane was really adamant that he wanted to have split screens in different areas. And I was like, I don't know how that's going to work. And then when he sent me some of the references, I was like, perfect. I get it now. And I kind of followed the formula of, okay, I want to showcase the talent, but then I also want to showcase the shoes. I want to showcase what they're wearing, the t-shirts, the gear, the swag. So the editing needs to be really, really choppy. I really wanted it to kind of have, you know, some smooth vibes to it, but at the same time, cut at the right points and at the right moments to showcase the style and the vibe of the brand. So whether they were wearing Converse or whether they were wearing Nikes and they were in Uggs, they had jumpers on, I want to showcase all of those different parts of the products that were being sold by the clients in a cool, interesting way. So in this particular case, I decided to use Epidemic Sound. And the reason why Epidemic Sound was my choice for this project was because it'll give me that urban pop, hip hop trap type of vibe. And that was it. We put it together. We really had a really small window of time. So there wasn't a lot of room for error, as you can imagine, but it was a great sort of exercise to see how well we could do as a tandem again. O'Shane's direction was amazing. I was able to direct as well. So it was just a great overall experience in general. Well, that's it for another episode of Cinecut with your host, me, Tristan Barrocks. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you learned something, and I hope you are getting that sort of itch to create again like I did. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comment section below. Also, like and subscribe to the channel. It'll really, really help if you give me a thumbs up and if you share it with your friends and your community. Until the next time, stay blessed, stay focused, and stay positive. Peace!